Germany has firmly established itself as Europe's leading defense exporter, recording a historic €12.8 billion in arms approvals for 2024, according to data released by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action. The vast majority of these exports were directed to Ukraine, reflecting Berlin's unprecedented role in supporting Kyiv during its ongoing conflict with Russia. This milestone marks a dramatic transformation in Germany's position within the global arms market, a shift that has been years in the making but accelerated significantly since the Russian invasion in 2022. By channeling the bulk of its military exports to Ukraine, Germany has positioned itself as one of the most consequential enablers of the country's battlefield resilience and overall European security. The report details that nearly €8.15 billion, or roughly 64% of all approved exports, went directly to Ukraine, underscoring the German government's strategic prioritization of Kyiv. This represents the second consecutive year in which Ukraine has topped Germany's defense export chart, following €12.1 billion in approvals in 2023. More strikingly, actual arms deliveries exceeded the approved figures, reaching €13.37 billion. This discrepancy highlights the German defense industry's capacity for rapid mobilization under wartime conditions and its growing integration into NATO's broader strategy of sustaining Ukraine's military capabilities over the long term. Germany's military support to Ukraine has encompassed a wide range of sophisticated systems, aimed at both offensive and defensive operations. Key deliveries included Leopard 2A6 main battle tanks, Marder infantry fighting vehicles, Puma IFVs, and Boxer-wheeled armored platforms. Additionally, a fleet of engineering and armored recovery vehicles ensured that Ukrainian forces could maintain operational effectiveness across multiple fronts. Air defense systems were also a central component of Germany's contribution. Kyiv received multiple Iris-T SLM and SLS batteries, Patriot launchers equipped with interceptor missiles, and Skynex short-range systems, designed to strengthen Ukraine's layered air defense network against Russian missile and drone strikes. Even older systems, such as the Leopard self-propelled anti-aircraft guns, continued to play a critical role, particularly in countering Iranian-made Shahid drones, which have increasingly threatened Ukrainian positions. Artillery support from Germany has been equally substantial. Ukraine received additional PZH-2000 self-propelled howitzers, supplemented by large quantities of 155mm ammunition, precision-guided munitions, and reconnaissance drones. This combination ensured that Ukrainian forces could maintain sustained, accurate firepower across the front lines, bolstering their ability to respond effectively to Russian offensives. Collectively, these deliveries have made Germany one of the most decisive contributors to Ukraine's military endurance and operational flexibility. Beyond Ukraine, Germany has maintained a strict focus on exporting arms to NATO allies and closely aligned partners. In 2024, 86% of export licenses were granted to EU, NATO, or strategically trusted states. South Korea and Singapore were among the most significant recipients outside Europe, acquiring advanced naval, aerospace, electronic, and armored systems. By contrast, applications from countries such as Pakistan, Thailand, and Malaysia were rejected, demonstrating Berlin's rigorous political and ethical criteria for non-allied sales. Overall, 62 export applications were denied in 2024, reflecting a deliberate effort to balance commercial interests with strategic and political reliability. The surge in German arms exports is inseparable from the country's broader strategic pivot under the Zeitenwende initiative, announced by Chancellor Olaf Scholz in 2022. Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Germany committed to both modernizing its own Bundeswehr with a €100 billion investment and assuming a more central security role within Europe. The 2024 export figures demonstrate that this policy has translated into tangible industrial output, with German defense companies scaling production lines, accelerating delivery schedules, and establishing new facilities to meet urgent wartime demand. Key industry players, including Rheinmetall, Krauss-Maffei Wegmann, Hensoldt, and Diehl Defense, have significantly expanded their workforce to support both domestic modernization and foreign commitments. Political leadership in Berlin has also emphasized the strategic importance of these exports. Vice-Chancellor and Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil visited Kiev in 2024, pledging an additional €9 billion in aid for 2025 and 2026. During his visit, he framed Germany's arms deliveries not merely as economic transactions but as instruments of deterrence, solidarity, and alliance credibility. According to Klingbeil, the goal is to ensure Ukraine can sustain its defense for as long as necessary, while simultaneously signaling Germany's commitment to protecting broader European security against Russian expansionism. Despite these commitments, Germany's dramatic growth in arms exports has sparked debate at home. Critics from opposition parties and civil society organizations argue that rapidly increasing arms transfers risk undermining the country's long-standing ethical export guidelines, which traditionally emphasized restraint, political oversight, and careful risk assessment. However, supporters contend that the extraordinary circumstances of the Ukraine conflict have fundamentally altered the security calculus, rendering accelerated military support both necessary and justified. The government maintains that its licensing procedures remain stringent, noting that the high number of rejected applications demonstrates that political control over exports has not been compromised. The 2024 Arms Export Report also illustrates the broader geopolitical implications of Germany's defense transformation. By committing significant resources to Ukraine, Berlin is not only shaping the battlefield in Eastern Europe but also redefining its global security posture. The country has shifted from a traditionally cautious arms exporter to a key NATO supplier whose industrial capacity can be mobilized in response to urgent wartime needs. This evolution enhances Germany's influence in Allied defense planning and strengthens its role as a security guarantor, both regionally and internationally. The strategic significance of Germany's arms transfers extends beyond military hardware. By delivering a combination of tanks, armored vehicles, artillery, and air defense systems, Germany enables Ukraine to maintain operational flexibility, sustain frontline resilience, and deter adversary advances. Moreover, the long-term nature of these commitments signals that Berlin views its support as a central component of European security architecture, rather than a temporary or transactional measure. These developments suggest a lasting recalibration of Germany's defense industry, its role within NATO, and its strategic identity on the world stage. In conclusion, Germany's record-setting €12.8 billion in 2024 arms approvals, with Ukraine as the primary beneficiary, represents a historic moment in European defense. The combination of extensive military deliveries, a strict focus on Allied recipients, and the alignment of industrial capacity with strategic objectives underscores the profound transformation underway in Berlin's security and defense policy. As Germany continues to expand production, accelerate deliveries, and maintain close collaboration with NATO partners, it is not only supporting Ukraine in its ongoing conflict but also reshaping the broader balance of power in Eastern Europe. The 2024 figures signal that Germany has transitioned from a cautious, rules-bound arms exporter to a decisive enabler of Allied defense, solidifying its role as a central pillar of European and transatlantic security in the face of persistent geopolitical challenges.